I'm Melody Rissell. Thank you for watching In-Camera Review. The purpose of this series is to provide insider information and tips and tricks for new practitioners, bar exam takers, law students, law clerks, and legal professionals. We do this by interviewing judges and distinguished practitioners. If you like this series, click the like below and leave a comment.
Visually, you're a very pretty lady. You look really young. I know you've been practicing for a long time, but you look really young. So, and you also said that you were quiet, and so it would seem like, how would you? And there's a lot of women that are like you. So how do you deal?
So I think there are a lot of various strategies or methods to deal with sexism, harassment, and I have encountered it myself. And I would say for myself personally, in various situations, it was handled in different types of ways. For instance, at the very beginning of my career, when I was more timid and more quiet, people would, kind of write me off. And honestly, for a while, I was okay with that because I let them underestimate me. But I made sure that whatever I did in terms of my work, whatnot, that it was great work, and that my work product and what I did represented myself well. So even if they thought I was quiet or they didn't like to talk to me, I would beat them in the motion, or whatever it was. I would take a killer deposition. So they can underestimate me all they want, but I just made sure that my work represented me well. And then in other instances, especially as I became more experienced, sometimes I would kind of like shrug things off and pick your battles kind of. And other times I would be feisty and I would let them know, just because I'm this quiet, small, petite Asian lady doesn't mean that you're going to be able to walk over me, because I will stand up for myself. And, once in a while you do that and then they say, okay, and they leave you alone. Other times, and I recall this one instance very distinctly. We were in a very contentious case, and there are three parties. One of the attorneys on the other side was particularly difficult to handle, deal with, and he would play all these games in terms of the litigation. He would never respond to your request for deposition dates. And so you would have to just schedule it. Then he wouldn't object until 3 days before, and then refuse to bring his client, and, and all those things. And then you'll get ready to do your motion to compel, and then he'll capitulate. And it was a big case. And so he would pull this trick time and time again. And there are all these other really, unfun tactics. And then one day I was just like, I'm not, I said, this is, I'm not doing this again. And so he wrote this email saying he wasn't going to do something. And I sat down and I wrote this email and I sent it to everyone. I said, look, you did this. We know why you did this. And I just called him out. I called him out on everything he did. And you know what he did? He responded to it all, took me off, and capitulated on the various things that I had called him out, but he took me off of the email. And getting back to how we handled it was the male partner at my firm that was on the case with me then said, I'm adding back Yen, the nice lady who, stood up for everyone and said what everyone was thinking, and you can answer to her. And so sometimes it just helps to have someone stand up for you. sometimes you have to stand up for yourself. Sometimes it helps to have someone stand up for you. Other times, you know, unfortunately, I have been a victim of harassment, sex harassment, and I used the system. I went and I reported it. And unfortunately, or fortunate, well, whatever, I believe that the company took adequate or more than adequate measures after I reported it, because that, you know, that's an example of a employment system that works, that in place for employee protection. So there's different ways to handle it. Don't handle it in terms of, like, you know, pick your battles, let them underestimate you, handle it yourself, have others handle it, or utilize the system. So I think those are lots of different ways you can do it. And, you know, there's nothing, it doesn't have to be super thought out. Sometimes it just happens, you know. I don't think when that example happened that the partner intended to, like, he wasn't thinking, I'm going to stand up for this female attorney of mine. Well, he was standing up for me, but, you know, it was just all very natural, how things play out. So.